enjoy volunteering with the Boy Scouts of America.
Seriously, that is so cool. So what do you do with them?
A bunch of different things. I'm on our council board, so I help make the decisions for all of pretty much everything. I also help teach leadership skills.
Oh, that's neat. So were you for the women becoming part of the Boy Scouts?
I was. I actually helped found the first girl Boy Scout troop in Memphis.
Oh, that is so cool. I mean, that is really neat, and that's like something really to stand out and be proud of. I love advocacy, but you know, we're not here for politics. Okay, so did we learn something new about each other?
Yes.
Did it have anything to do with the school of hospitality? Did it have anything to do with your family? A little bit. Did it have anything to do with finding a job? Let's see, meeting teachers or anything like that. It was really on a ground level, right? Like, who are you really? So, when you got to talk about something that you like to do, how did it make you feel?
Comfortable?
Yes. Did you know that most jobs are found because of people you know? It's not found with, now some of them are, but most jobs, especially in Memphis, most jobs are found by people you know. People who know you are a referral because these people know you. The want ads, it's very difficult, right? Because they get like hundreds and hundreds of things. But if you're referred to somebody for a job, that's a really cool thing. So all of my jobs I've ever had in my entire life have all been because people knew me. My current job that I have for the last 3 years is because my boss and I, you want to hear how this happened? We knew each other for 8 years. We met at a chamber function in the hallway, and I said, "Hi, you're the new executive director of Latino Memphis." And he said, "Yes, I would love to sit down and talk to you." Let's go forward 5 years later. We actually got to sit down and talk to each other. But that was our first meeting. Then I worked at the chamber, and Latino Memphis was my rep. And they were my company that I was talking to and helping them build relationships and things like that. So I saw Mauricio, that's the executive director, at Costco, and I was really ready for a change. I saw him at Costco, and I said, "Hey, I'm just looking for a development job. You know, I've been in sales for a long time, and I'd really like to go back into development." He said, "Oh yeah, that'd be fine." The next day, and he said, "I'll keep it in mind." The next day, he called me and said, "Hey, can we meet for coffee?" And there was a job that he was looking for. He was looking for a position with somebody like me. How random is that? That's how things happen here. So how many people are from Memphis? How many people have lived in Memphis a long time? So Memphis is like 1 to 2 degrees away from separation. I mean, if we get to talk to each other, like Josh and I, we went to ECS. Now, I wasn't in the same class. I graduated in '88. So, but we went to ECS. So we have some connections already. His parents are probably people that I knew. Do you see how things happen? The more you get to know people, like sports. We could be talking, and 9 times out of 10, I might know somebody who knew you in high school. That's how close-knit Memphis is, especially finding a job in Memphis. So one of the things I want you to do is to learn to meet people on a really grassroots level, because that's another thing that will make you feel confident, right? Because you knew each other. All right, so how do we feel about all this? We feel good, like we're learning some new skills? Do we have to get up again? No? Okay. All right. So let's take another look. So working the crowd. Everyone who's in that room with you is all nervous. But if you know these little tricks that you can go back and fall back on, you're going to be feeling so much better than the next person. So here's some questions, and I have these questions for you. So who would like to pass these out for me? Come on up. One more. All right, come on up. All right, Josh, if you'll pass it on that side, and just keep the extras. Okay. So here's your top 14 questions. that you can ask. So I heard at the very beginning that you all are going to be talking, what is it called, a resume workshop, or not resume, what's it?
Mock interviews.
Mock interviews. So one of the tricks that you can do is turn the interview on the interviewer. And that's a lot of fun, right? Okay. So outside of work, where do you spend time? These are your go-to questions. I want you to keep these. You can put it in your back pocket. You can memorize these things if you want to, but these are your go-tos. So outside of work, where do you spend your time? What are your hobbies and interests? Isn't that one of the questions I asked you? What are the ages of your children and where do they go to school? So obviously, how many people in here have children? Okay, so that's another connection with parents. What did you do before this? What got you into this job? If you had some recommendations for me, what would those be? What is the trick behind that? Why am I telling you about these questions? What does it do to the other person?
It starts the conversation with them, gets them talking.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? It gets them talking. So when you're in a networking group, you can start asking some questions. And what does that do for you? It takes all eyes off of you and puts all eyes on them. Okay? How do we feel about that? All right. So, which community do we live in? That's a good one too, because then there are restaurants in those communities. There's neighborhood centers in those communities. There are nonprofits in those communities that you can talk about. What civic organizations are you involved in? That tells you about what organizations interest them, so you can remember that. What if you are talking to other people in this networking group that you're going to, and you think, oh my gosh, I know somebody you need to talk to. They love to do this too. They love to cook Japanese food. How cool is that? And then you're able to connect them. The whole idea about networking is you get to know so much about the other person that you can start connecting them. Not only are they the resource for you, you're the resource for them. So I want you to keep these. These are really good questions to have. And when you're in an interview with somebody, they say, hey, how are you doing? You know, oh, it's great. You know, I was looking at some of the awards on your walls. Tell me about some of those. Another thing you can ask is when they say, do you have any questions for me? That is the dreaded question, right? You can do all your research, but do you have any questions for me? You can say, well, how long have you been in your position? Tell me about what organizations have you been a part of? What advice would you have for someone like me in this organization? What is the career path? That's a question they are not getting. Because the questions that they typically get are, what are the benefits? Right? What are the benefits of this job? That's not a question that they want to have. But if you get them talking about you, they're thinking they're interesting. Okay? So another question here, what organizations or groups do you think I should consider becoming involved in to meet these types of individuals that you know? What organizations should I be involved in? All right? You like these? Are they easy to remember? Okay. A COI, Center of Influence. A person who is a center of influence is wonderful. These three people back here, centers of influences. What's your name? Elizabeth. Tell me, read this to me, please.
A COI is a person who is in a position or business that tends to have a great influence with prospects in your target market. These people have great potential to be among your best referral sources.
Yes. So these people back here are your referral sources. They are COIs for you. They're very important. Professors that you have, very important. Past bosses, very important. Organizations, how many people in here, now you volunteer, Boy Scouts, so you're on a board. So there are people on her board that are influences for her. Who else has worked in a nonprofit or volunteered before? Okay, the executive director, the people that are in the group, that are working alongside you. They're centers of influences. Why? They've either been in that organization a long time, They know other people outside of the organizations. They can help you with the next step, give you some ideas. I'm a center of influence. You all have met me today, and I'm a center of influence for you. I have information that can help you get to the next step, right? Okay. So let's connect the dots. Who do you know already? So, Michael, will you read this, please?
Colleagues, board members, clients, family and friends, prospects, academic leaders, vendors, religious leaders, nonprofit volunteers, civic leaders, and business owners.
So all of these people, you know them in these different groups. So I need two other people to pass out for me. Who else would like to help me? Lauren, I'm gonna start calling. Did you want to help Noah? I saw a little reluctance there, but that's okay. All right, if you'll pass these out. So who do you already know? This wheel that I'm going to be giving to you is very important because you can actually look at it and there's different spokes that are on it. So this is just a reference for you. But if you'll look at this, there's spokes. You can put in any name, any title that you want to. So you can put in colleagues right here. You can put in colleagues right here. You can put in board members right here. This spoke, it could represent something else. So these spokes can represent a lot of different things. You can make lots of copies of this because if you're looking